Good evening. Our top story this week, MSNBC's Melissa Harris Perry declares her pro-village approach and attacks a parents' rights to raise their kids as they see fit by saying,
We have never invested as much in public education as we should have because we've always had kind of a private notion of children. Your kid is yours and totally your responsibility. We haven't had a very collective notion of these are our children. So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's everybody's responsibility and not just the households, then we start making better investments.
In Florida, Governor Rick Scott signs a child welfare normalcy bill into law so that foster parents can make decisions and let kids go on a school field trip or sleep over at their friend's house without having to get permission from CPS agents. In Missouri, a legislator is demanding that the child protective industry start releasing records after children have died or been seriously injured by abuse or neglect rather than allowing CPS to hide their failures. And in California, Los Angeles CPS agents are demanding a pay raise. In Nebraska, the legislature is trying to bring in more federal dollars for their foster care system. In Maine, the governor vetoes a bill that would ban the use of tanning booths by teenagers under 18 and calling it a move to protect parental rights. After the governor withdraws his support, Maine Secretary of State is refusing to give up his seat on the Truth and Reconciliation Commission that is looking at the state's history of snatching Native children from their parents and having them raised in white families. And in New York, the Suffolk County child protective industry is losing CPS agents left and right, and critics are worried that this will mean that existing CPS agents will have less time to mess with families. The U.S. Supreme Court is going to take a look at the Indian Child Welfare Act when they hear the baby Veronica case next week as the former adoptive parents make a last-ditch effort to get her back from her real father. In Tennessee, a lawmaker drops his bid to tie a parent's welfare benefits to a kid's school performance when her 8-year-old follows him around the Capitol in protest and he is scolded for calling her a prop. In Texas, the House passes legislation that would require regular medical checkups for foster kids who are prescribed psychotropic drugs. In Ohio, the Attorney General is looking for ways to improve their failure of a foster care system. And Purdue University releases research that suggests that exhaustion and unrealistic expectations of parenthood may contribute to post-adoption depression in women. In Malaysia, 28 kids are rescued from a baby selling operation and returned to their foster parents. Russian officials are worried that the United States may be keeping secret some incidents of Russian orphans being abused in American homes. And in South Africa, CPS agents are protesting their crappy working conditions. In Canada, 5 former foster kids are suing the Prince Edward County Children's Aid Society for $14 million after being molested while in their care. British Columbia's foster kids are having long wait times to get psychiatric care. In British Columbia is still failing the kids anyway, as half of them are ending up on public assistance within 6 months of exiting the system. In Australia, a former foster kid is in trouble after he blackmailed his foster father by threatening to tell everybody that he was gay. And the Ombudsman of Tasmania's child protective industry is warning of another stolen generation if CPS doesn't soon get its shit together. In England, a couple who was wrongfully investigated for child abuse is accusing Haringey Council of trying to crush their family. UNICEF is warning that prospects for British children in life trail behind many other European countries. A British social worker is struck off the register after being caught with indecent images of children on his computer. A mother whose kids were snatched by the British SS is fighting them all the way to the Royal Courts of Justice. And a British judge warns parents to stop running to Ireland to escape evil social workers who want to snatch their children. In entertainment news this week, the former foster kid is accusing legendary Bachman Turner Overdrive guitar player Tim Bachman of sexually abusing her between the ages of 11 and 14. Halle Berry is knocked up again and is denying rumors that her and the daddy have used the lawyers to come to a prearranged custody deal. And Madonna is being accused of blackmail, demanding special treatment, and bullying state officials in Malawi, where she adopted 2 of her 4 kids. In Connecticut, a gay couple who almost got off from a jail sentence after being accused of sexually abusing some of the kids they adopted have decided to go to trial instead because they want to clear their names after 3 more of the kids come forward accusing them of abuse. A couple of real parents who tied up the mother-in-law and took off with the kids are in a Florida jail cell after they get busted hiding out on a sailboat at a marina in Havana, Cuba, and are handed right over to U.S. officials. In Kentucky, a foster parent/Boy Scout leader is arrested for collecting child porn. In Massachusetts, a 22-year-old is looking at a possible life sentence for molesting a foster child. child. And in Utah, a woman who had sex with her foster sons gets probation. In Colorado, a judge is accusing a CPS agent of failing a kid to death. In Ohio, adoptive parents are suing the Trumbull County Child Protective Industry for $3 million for not being truthful about the kinds of issues the kids that they were adopting had. A family from North Dakota goes to Florida to get medical attention for their sick child, only to have all of their kids taken away by CPS agents. A Connecticut appellate court backs the Child Protective Industry's decision to fire a CPS agent whose foster child died while in her care. And finally, tonight in Oklahoma, an 11-year-old runs away from his group home and gets killed after getting hit by 3 pickup trucks on Interstate 44. For these stories and all the latest dirt on the child protective industry, visit www.legallykidnapped.com. And until next week, this is Baby LK, over and out.